Hey, AJ from the Moto Academy here. Today I'm going to break down some crashes and some highlights from, where was it? I can't even keep track. San Diego Supercross. So, haven't seen these yet. Going to break them down and do my best to analyze them in real time for you guys. If you want your riding footage to be analyzed, go to club.themotoacademy.com. We have a motocross community, training community set up online. And it's quite amazing if I don't say so myself. Download the app, subscribe. You can send your riding footage in for analyzation, all of that good stuff. But we're just going to jump right in. I have no idea what Ryan has set up for me here or what we have. We got somebody being carted into the Alpine Star Medical Unit, which, just going to pause it right off the bat here. I can't tell you guys how nice it is to show up to a race. Keep in mind, the only races that I participate in are Supercross races, AMA Supercross races. To have the Alpine Star Medical crew handy is so nice. I'm talking from minor things to major things. You never have to worry, and you know you're in good hands. Because a lot of times what happens is when you crash at a practice track, whoever the first responder is to you might not have any idea what dirt bikes is, and not that that matters completely, but it's just really nice to have people that are so moto specific to where, you know, when you're saying, hey, I have a broken wrist and 2 broken ribs, and yeah, I separated my shoulder last weekend, but I want to race tonight, so like, how can we make that happen? Can you tape me up? Can you give me a shot of Toradol in the butt? How can we make this work? These guys are amazing, and I've been carted away like this many a time, so I would know. Okay, so this is, I remember seeing this in person and wondering how he hurt himself in the first place. I mean, I guess it only takes a few pounds of pressure to break a collarbone, right? So maybe he did collarbone? But it didn't seem like that bad of a fall. But I guess, yeah, if collarbone is that delicate. What probably happened, super easy, in fact, I almost did it 15 times today, is you try and get set up at the end of the whoop section to get set up for the corner. And you really need to be patient and wait. Actually, Sexton did it too, and that's how he ended up crashing. And matter of fact, are we going right into that? Yeah, so very similar style crash here from Sexton, I think. Just gas tank explosion, unbelievable. I'm actually surprised that hasn't happened more often, I guess. Do we get to see the crash? Yeah, so same thing from Sexton. Like in whoops, if you're doing them correctly, you're really trying to maybe like skim and double out so that you don't skim the last whoop. That would be the ultimate goal, so that you can really get the bike to settle, and therefore you can get turned either low in the turn, or the suspension will just work better in the turn all around. But you have to be careful, because as soon as you start angling that bike to turn at all in the whoops, it will react. Our suspension is so stiff in Supercross. I am very surprised. If you're going to do a knee, that's how you do a knee. And he's lucky he didn't get slammed into by Plessinger. And then, okay, how funny is that? Anderson? Is that Anderson? Oh, no, it's not. That's Noren. Noren just so casually, perfectly, rides up over both bikes at once. That was nice. It looked like it hurt Plessinger more than it hurt Sexton. That was wild. Also, watching Sexton in that LCQ, it looked like he was a nervous wreck for that first lap. His first LCQ ever. All right, what are we watching here? Oh, Anderson taking Barcia out. This is a fair play pass, in my opinion. This corner is slow speed enough to where if you're going to do it the way Anderson did, which is kind of just like nick your front tire, it's sort of a dirty move a little bit, but it's not that bad. I mean, if you're going to take somebody out, it's best to do it in a low speed situation like this. The reason this kept happening in this turn is because if you look at the lines, everybody was trying to get squared up in that corner to get back to Ryder's left for the Dragon's Back, which was the next uphill whoop section after that, so that you could get set up for the next turn. It's all about piecing corner to corner together. So everybody, I mean, Barcia right here was trying to square up. By the time he realized Anderson was there, he was already on his front tire. So there wasn't much that you could do. Such a slow speed fall. It's amazing how those factory bikes never seem to stall in those situations, ever. All right, next clip. What do we got here? I don't know if this is a crash clip. I think this is just Mookie just on rails. And what's cool is this is what a confident rider looks like. So often I find myself riding the Supercross track just trying to survive it, And then there's the next level up from that, where when you watch Malcolm ride this track, he's scrubbing everything, he's pushing through really aggressively. It takes a lot of confidence and a really good bike setup. It takes the whole package to be able to get to that level in Supercross. It's pretty easy to do that on a motocross track. That's where most people operate, on the motocross track. But on Supercross, that's a whole different ballgame. Yeah, just squaring up, changing lines, like, you got to be careful squaring under, though, when there's somebody right behind you, because that could end up being a Dungy Bubba situation. This was fun to watch, too, because Malcolm and Roxon, for that matter, and Sansorello, for that matter, would be three guys that are really clean. That was a nice pass. Also, you don't make this pass. This is interesting. I was thinking this in real time while watching this. You don't make this type of pass here on somebody that's not like Roxon. For example, let's go back one more time. You do not make this pass here on Barcia, because just guess what Barcia doesn't do? If Barcia's in Roxon's shoes here, Barcia goes for the triple anyway. Then you have a collision midair. You have to know the rider that you're going up against. Roxon is almost too clean in the sense that riders will take advantage of him. Like, Malcolm would never do that to a Barcia. He wouldn't do that to a Ferrandis. He wouldn't do that probably to Webb. I mean, there's certain riders that would never give up that spot right there. They would just jump the triple. Therefore, it would force Malcolm to hit the brakes. So I find that pretty interesting that he had a feeling that if he came all the way over, that Roxon would be smart enough to check up. And another smart thing Roxon does, checks over his shoulder here to make sure he's all clear before cutting back kind of more to the middle, which is a smart thing to do. You never want to get yourself in a situation where you're getting landed on a triple. That is never fun. I've had that happen as well. I've raced for so long at this point, when I watch these clips, I've had all of these situations happen at one point or another. All right, next clip. All right, this is Voland. Oh, that poor guy. I forgot that this happened. What do you think he got hurt? Or, I mean, I was going to say poor Voland because he didn't make the main, but poor Alpine Star track worker. So what caused this? I mean, it's hard to say how deep the ruts were in this pocket, but chances are they're probably pretty deep. He goes long, so he overshoots this, which, not badly, but just enough to jump into the pocket. And what that does is when you jump into the pocket, the bike will react and deflect. And you don't know if it's going to deflect left or right in a situation like this. And unfortunately for him, it just deflected right into one of the track crew. Hopefully he's okay. That was, you hate to, just after I give those guys a shout out, you hate to see those guys end up in a situation where they end up getting hurt. But that's what happens when we don't downside our jumps. You have to give the suspension time to compress and unload, or you end up in a deflection situation where it's honestly, it almost feels like you're going into a barrel roll when that happens. It's not fun. You can't really control it, to be honest. All right, next clip. I think we got my man Cade Clayson. Oh, this was a weird one. Cade just decided he wasn't going to take the turn and just casually just goes straight up over the berm and then just sits there and stares. Just stares at everybody. My only guess here, he seemed in control in the whoops. So far, so good. He gets a little kick. No, he's still in control. Head is forward, hitting every whoop. Okay, we're good. We're good. His back brakes, did we get any intel? Do we know? Like, was it a bike malfunction? I'm guessing that his back brake just didn't work. Because that doesn't make sense. It looks like he was fine. Unless he missed it. Either his back brake didn't work or he missed the back brake altogether, because that should have been pretty easy to make the turn in that situation. He wasn't really that out of shape. It should have been a non-issue. All right, next clip. This is currently my biggest fear, which is the first turn. First turns are scary. I'm going to probably play this through quite a few times and see where the origin of this whole problem was. I don't know if Ryan gave me a slow-mo or not. Yes, he did. Okay, so, well, let's watch the slow-mo in its entirety first. Whoa! Oh, good thing these kids are young because they are so nimble with it. Okay. Naturally, when you start going to the first turn, it turns into a funnel because everybody wants to end up in the same area altogether. So you're going to end up in situations where either you're locking handlebars or your front tire is getting cut off by a rear tire. In this situation, 40, is that Styles Robertson maybe? I don't know. I don't follow the sport, clearly. Number 40 here on the Yamaha thinks he's going to get the whole shot, basically. 102 is in a pretty good spot, but he's just a little too far outside. 40 probably thinks he's going to get it, so AKA he's going to come over pretty aggressive from right to left, start closing the door. And then 43, Kitchen, right to his left, has a pretty good start too, so he's going to be in a position where he doesn't want to let off. Right here, he starts to back off, but now he's just getting straight up pinched by Enzo Lopes or Nicoletti, whoever that is on the Yamaha in that bright gear. Oh, and then it basically very similar to a Faulkner situation, but it does what it didn't do to Faulkner. Which actually, I mean, this is pretty unusual. His tire actually crawls up his back tire, and then it just slaps him down. Or does it? Or does he get dragged on the back of 102's bike? Oh no, he just gets slapped down, straight to the head. And then you got these guys on the outside just tumbling as well. Yeah, first turns are scary. Oh, there's another angle here. Interesting. Okay, so that wouldn't have happened then. Wow, how similar to the Faulkner situation. I mean, look at. Kitchen locks elbows, then deflects off the 56 and goes straight into the back tire. Yeah, I mean, avoidable in the sense that, oh, it all happens so quick though. Man, I don't know. First, I got to race in a week. I got to stop saying first turns are scary. Next clip. Get me out of this clip. Get me out of this clip. All right. Malcolm Stewart jumping into the hay bales. How many times has he crashed hard already this season? I mean, he's gone over the bars more times in the first two races than I have in the last 10 years combined. But he is going extremely fast, and he's not riding out of control either. So I wish that the clip gave us a little bit more at the beginning here to see what his seat bounce looked like going into this. Yeah, because this clip starts just a little too late. So the source of this problem is going to be in this pocket right here. So you come out of this corner, you go... Are they going single, double? No, he'd be going double, triple. Yeah, okay. So he would have gone double, triple, and again, probably ended up in a situation where he got that maybe a little overshoot in the double and then just deflected off left. Also, it's always hard to tell from the TV angle, but chances are that there's probably ruts right here and probably deeper than what you would guess they are. So if you get a little cross-rutted, it does not take much to just shoot off. Getting super lucky, especially considering he got stuck being one with the bike. Incredibly lucky. Yeah, it's a bummer to see because he is going so... Is this another Malcolm crash? Next clip. Oh, I didn't know he went down in the whoops too. Oh, these things seem tricky because that was a very similar one to Sexton, although that looked less about corner setup as it did. This crash started right here. His back tire impacts something on this whoop that really basically ruins all of his forward momentum, and that causes the big swap combined with... There's a drag race. Big swap combined with lack of traction, therefore the bike dips down. So he hits this next one really, really low, and he's sideways, so now it's what? It's probably going to kick him back the complete opposite direction. And when it does that, now his back tire, he probably would have been okay if his back tire hit this whoop a little lower to stay in rhythm. But what happens is his back tire misses that whoop, then he's done. Once the back tire misses that whoop, now he's casing this one completely sideways. He's actually, it's amazing that he made it that far, but the old teeter-totter effect never fails. The key to hitting Supercross whoops is hitting the very top of each one with your front tire, back tire, front tire, back tire. When you miss one, now we're ending up deep into the next one, which that can be an immediate issue, but if it doesn't cause you to crash then, the problem is it's now going to preload you and you're going to miss the next whoop. So that's what happened to him. So he actually rode out from that one pretty good, which is amazing to see pros be that calculated in situations like this. Okay, next clip. Okay, so this was the almost exact same pass that Anderson made on Barcia, but this one was a little bit more dirty. And the reason I say that is because he kind of contacted his leg and the side of the bike and the front fender, where Anderson kind of just nicked the front tire. And what's funny, that happened after Barcia got taken out, and then apparently Barcia complained. Anderson even tweeted. Anderson got back from the heat race, sent out a quick tweet, which they then put on the broadcast. I can't imagine how this all played out, like between the teams, and Kawasaki must have just been like, oh God, here we go. And then they put it on the broadcast. Then the press conference, I saw a clip of Barcia getting asked about it, and Barcia said that he never complained. So then I'm like, oh my God, what? I'm so curious to know more about that story and what happened, because Anderson's tweet is accurate in that Barcia should never complain about a pass like the one that Anderson made on Barcia. Never, with the way that he rides. So I saw that tweet and I was like, oh, that's kind of funny, you know? And then to see Barcia's press conference where he was like, oh, I never said anything. So that was kind of weird. Okay, so Ryan's going to overlay this.
Yeah, I'll overlay it for him. Watch this.
I did. There tonight, he said you were complaining and that you shouldn't complain, and he called you a bitch in the tweet.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Pause it. Hang on.
Yeah. I mean,
First
I'm
of all, was that not the most
at all.
New York, oh yeah, of all time? Like, the New York came so out of him in that moment. That was insane. Okay, hang on. I got to listen to the rest of this. Oh, and Tomac's laughing? Oh, no way. I haven't seen this yet.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that I didn't complain at all.
He said you were complaining and that you shouldn't complain, and he called you a bitch in the tweet.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that I didn't.
Tomac just trying to keep it professional over there.
And he called you a bitch in the tweet.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Oh, this is great. Wow. Who is the person, I wonder, that asked that question? That's funny that they swore in the that's very funny to me. I mean, if you're going to take somebody out, you just, I guess, just own up to it. If you're a dirty rider, own up to it, which Barcia does a good job of. I guess where people get on Barcia is they never want to hear him complain about somebody else take him out. So if you're going to be a dirty rider, try and not do it in a dangerous way, and then just expect that you're going to get taken out as well, and that's just part of it. Like, for me, I am the cleanest rider of all time, to the point where if somebody's getting close, I'm just like, oh, okay, yep, go ahead, get away from me. Where if somebody took me out, I'd be furious, because I would assume that everybody knows that I'm just the nice guy when I'm out on the track. But you don't want to take it that far either. So find a happy middle ground. I think that most of the guys that make it this deep into their career, so most of the 450 field is pretty good about that, because let's face it, like, Barcia is that anomaly of a guy that is a wrecking ball sometimes and has made it this deep into his career. Most of those people would come and go. Yeah, that's interesting. That's hilarious, though, that they just asked that in the press conference. Tomac's reaction was so funny. Let's watch it one more time through. Poor Sexton. Never done anything to anybody. You know who's a nimble crasher, though? Sexton. Sexton is just like Jet. They have a very similar build, and they crash the same way, to where I could be wrong, but Sexton seems to crash pretty nimbly, which is good. You want to get good at crashing if you can, guys. Don't know how to teach that, but maybe it's inside the Moto Academy at club.themotoacademy.com. Well, there you go. There you have it. these races, I tell you what, I've been so happy that I haven't gone to them and just got to watch them from the couch. It just seems better nowadays that I'm old to watch them from the couch. But guess what? I go racing in 2 weeks. Houston Supercross. I'm doing East Coast. I've been training. So no expectations, but let's face it, lots of expectations. We'll see. I think I might be fast. Maybe I won't. It should be entertaining. We're going to vlog the whole thing, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want tips and if you want more behind the scenes action, download the app, the Moto Academy app. And what else? I think that's it. Okay. Till next time. Toodaloo.
So you got a chance or what?
I've been closing the gap repeatedly, and what I will say is today, guess who didn't show up? Chance was nowhere to be found. To be honest, neither was Jed or Hunter. So the gap today closed immensely. They always joke around that I'm closing the gap from the front, which I laugh every time I hear it. Still don't know what that means. Does that mean I'm a lap down and I'm closing the gap? I don't know. But we're closing the gap. Chance Hymas, watch your back, son. Jet and Hunter. Jet, I know you're not on my coast. But Hunter, we're coming swinging East Coast. I'm closing that gap.